I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to our podcasts, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
What we're talking about today are foods that help you detoxify. And the main organ that we talk about with detoxification is the liver. Everything you eat, everything you drink, everything you breathe, eventually is going to end up in your liver. Well, not everything you breathe, sometimes you exhale, but things are going to end up in your liver to be broken down, and the liver is kind of like a sorting station. It says, okay, these are amino acids, these are proteins, these are fats, these are carbohydrates, and it kind of breaks them down into usable forms and then sends it out into the body. And so the liver, the good news about the liver is no organ heals faster than the liver. Because people come to me sometimes and say, Dr. Joe, I have a liver condition. I said, well, the good news is if you had to have an organ have a problem, the liver's a good one because it usually heals. Not always, but usually. So the one thing with the liver is as soon as you stop putting the junk in, the junk starts to come out. So you have control over the liver by not poisoning it. And you can do things to help the liver heal faster, and that's what we're talking about today. So one of the foods you can do, broccoli. Not only does broccoli increase something called glutathione, and glutathione it helps detoxify the body. It's a great antioxidant. It helps the liver transform toxins into a form that can be eliminated. Now, science has linked cruciferous vegetables with living longer. Now, what the heck is a cruciferous vegetable? Well, if you listened to my shows before, you know my little secret about cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables, when the flowers form on the plant, they're in the shape of a crucifix. That's why they're called cruciferous. Pretty cool, huh? And when you start eating cruciferous vegetables, they're loaded with sulfur. I'm going to talk about Brussels sprouts and cabbage in just a second. These things help the body heal. It helps your joints heal. You need sulfur to repair cartilage and ligaments. And most of us don't get enough good sulfur in our diet. Cruciferous vegetables solve that problem. Here's a little thing I do because I'm lazy. I'll buy bags of frozen broccoli. I'll buy bags of frozen vegetables. I like okra. I'll buy bags of frozen okra. But broccoli is an easy one. Take a bag of broccoli, tear it open, heat it up. I just boil it in some water. And then I'll add, once it's boiled, I drain it. I'll add some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, some red pepper. You can add garlic salt or garlic powder if you wanted to. And I add something called nutritional yeast. Now, if you've never had nutritional yeast, I want you to consider this as an adventure for you. Nutritional yeast is a powder. It kind of looks like powdered mashed potatoes. It has an amazingly delicious flavor. It tastes very savory, kind of like cheese, I guess, for lack of a better word. Like a cheddar cheese almost. It's even yellow. And I just sprinkle on liberally the nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, olive oil, garlic salt, red pepper if I want to, oregano if I want to get crazy. Oregano is really good as an antiviral. Mix it all together, and I made essentially what becomes a casserole, and then I just eat it. So a bag of organic broccoli florets might cost you $1.50 if you get them on sale. Olive oil, relatively inexpensive. Make sure you do organic. Salt and pepper is pretty cheap. Oregano is pretty cheap, or any type of Italian seasoning, marjoram, oregano. And then the nutritional yeast is the thing that's going to make it kind of rich and cheesy. You eat that, you'll be full. You'll feel great, low calories, extremely low carb. I mean, you're worried about carbs. This is a great way to get low carbs. So you're saving money, you're saving time, it tastes great, you feel good, it helps your organs, it helps detoxify the liver, gives you glutathione, gives you fiber. Where's the downside to this? There is none. So broccoli is one of my little tricks that I do as one of my go-to meals, and it's frozen. So you don't have to worry about it. It's not like, oh, do I have it fresh? Did it go bad? Did I have to clean it? Do I have to wash it? It's washed and cut up and frozen. Just always do organic of anything, of course. So that's kind of fun. Brussels sprouts. This is another one of my go-to foods. Brussels sprouts are high in sulfur, so they help break down toxins in the blood. Brussels sprouts are high in something called indole-3 carbinol, sulforaphane, and antioxidants, and those have been proven to help fight cancer. So wait a minute. We have a food that's relatively inexpensive, $2 a bag maybe, do organic, They help fight cancer. They're low in carbs, zero carbs as far as maybe one or two. I don't even know if there's any at all. Olive oil is great for lubricate the joints, gives you omega-9 fatty acids. It's good for you. Nutritional yeast loaded with B vitamins that you can add to the broccoli. You can add it to the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to give you a different recipe for Brussels sprouts, though. Air-dried sea salt, which is going to give you over 70 different minerals to help the body work. Pepper, which is high in pepperine, which is very good to help you absorb nutrients. So you can do that as well. Red pepper, loaded with nutrients, opens up the blood vessels. But with Brussels sprouts, you can mix it like I told you with the broccoli, or a little trick I do. Take the bag of frozen Brussels sprouts, dump it in a pie pan, a glass pie pan. Olive oil, salt and pepper. Balsamic vinegar. Put a little balsamic vinegar on top, mix it up, put it in a broiler. Takes about 20 minutes. And when they start getting a little brown, depending how you like it, taste one. If you want to cook it a little more, put it back in a little bit. Unbelievably delicious. In fact, I brought them to the office many times for my doctors, and they're like, oh my God, these are great. Where did you get them from? I said, get them from a $2 bag of Brussels sprouts with some olive oil and some organic balsamic vinegar. People go nuts over them. Cheap, delicious, gourmet if you want to get fancy. Again, you want to get a little more crazy, add a little garlic powder to it. Ooh. So these are things that are very good to help cleanse and detoxify the body, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about ways that you can cleanse and detoxify your body, but they're all cheap, they're all easy, and they're all fun. And so many times, people come to me and say, Dr. Joe, I don't know what to eat. I understand I shouldn't be eating alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas. But what do I eat then? Well, here's a little tip for you, and a free tip. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and you'll see a link there to sign up for my newsletter. You just give me your email address. It's absolutely free. Never give your email address out. And we don't send out a lot of stuff. We send out nice little tips, kind of like the radio show, just little tips on what you can do to get well. When I'm giving a lecture again, many times they're free. A lot of companies hire me to come in and do corporate workshops, and those I can't invite you to, but the public ones I invite you to, and I lecture all over the country. And when you do that, we're going to send you a link to a lecture that I did called So What Can I Eat? And that's going to be there as well. Again, that's free. It's all no charge. It's my gift to you. But when people say what to eat, here's some things. Cabbage. A lot like Brussels sprouts, cabbage contains sulfur, and it stimulates the activation of liver detoxifying enzymes. Now, if you don't know how to eat cabbage, there's several ways you can do it. How about a coleslaw? Coleslaw? I could do that. How about a cooked cabbage? Oh, I've seen that already on menus. Take a cabbage, cut it up. I put olive oil. I'm Italian. Everything starts with oil, garlic, and red pepper. You could do coconut oil too, which heats a little better, but you're not going to heat this for very long, so you're okay with this. Olive oil, put the cabbage in, cover it about a third of the way with water, mix it up, cover it. It'll steam. It'll get the oily flavor, the peppery, the garlicky flavor. There's your meal right there. You want to get really crazy? Add some cannellini beans. They're Italian. And mix a can of beans in. Don't cook the cabbage with the beans. The beans break down. It gives you a lot of gas. Take the can of beans. Make sure they're organic. Open it up. Dump the can in the cabbage after it's cooked. Mix it up. You'll lose your mind how good this stuff is. Now, I grew up in a real poor family. My father was disabled. My father had a horrible accident before I was born, fell off a ladder, broke his back, fractured his skull, and went deaf. So my mother was pregnant with me. It's the first chapter of my new book, actually, which is really kind of it's a neat little story, but it kind of tells you where I came from. And I never had a father I could hear. My father passed about 13 years ago, but he never heard my voice. But I learned so much from him. We were poor. We didn't go out. We went to dinner maybe once a year, if that. But he taught me how to be humble, how to be frugal. But what a great man. I just can't praise my father enough. Just a great man. And my mother as equally as great. I just so lucky to have such amazing parents. And growing up in a very tumultuous time with no money, growing up in the 60s, kind of a politically tumultuous time. But I learned so much from them. And my father loved to cook. So that's where I learned a lot of these recipes. And a lot of the foods that we're talking about were part of my daily diet. I didn't know they were good for me. I just knew they were cheap. And that's why we ate them. But turns out now, science is proving that these things are really good for you as well. So the cabbage and beans, by the way, is where I was going with this, is just off the chart. So you want to eat more fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. The alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, you want to stay away from them. And these things like the cabbage, you can make the cabbage and beans and freeze it. And I do this a lot. And then if it's winter, I'm busy, these are more winter foods. I'll just take out something before I go to work, put it in the refrigerator. When I come home from work, it's defrosted. I heat it up, I eat it, and I'm done. Quick, easy, inexpensive, delicious. No downside, folks. All upsides. And I'm actually helping my joints because the sulfur can help build my joints. And as we get older, we all start to suffer from joint problems because the joints start to wear out and they dehydrate. Because when you're young, you got really good circulation to your ligaments, your discs, and the body heals so much quicker. As we get older, the circulation starts to fade and the discs and the ligaments literally dry up. And so they become weak and brittle. By eating foods that increase circulation, like beets, like hot peppers, you're allowing blood to go to these areas and allowing those areas to heal. So a lot of the ethnic foods that you like so much, Mexican food and Italian food, are the cheap foods. It's the foods of the paupers. But there's a lot of nutrients in there as well. We live in a country of rich people diseases. We have diseases of excess, too much sugar, too much alcohol, too much food in general, too much cooked food. We really want to go back to it's like the old man, go back to the old ways when we didn't have as much. You know, it's interesting. I was watching a show called That 70s Show. Everybody in the show was thin except one guy, and he had a little bit of a belly. And I thought to myself, it's a modern day show. When they casted this, they had to look for people that were thin, that didn't look like we look like today, because in the 70s, we didn't have a lot of the steroids and hormones and chemicals and pesticides and herbicides and genetically modified foods. And in the 80s, that all came about. If you're old enough, look at your high school pictures and look at the football team, how small they were. Look at how thin everybody was. And now look at football players. I weighed 210 pounds in high school, the biggest guy on my football team. 6'1", 210 pounds. Now, that's a kicker. That's nothing. I look at kids and they're so much taller, so much bigger because they're being exposed to so many chemicals. And I attended a seminar the other day, and it was on weight loss and detoxification. It wasn't my seminar. I was a attendee. And the doctor made an interesting point, and she said, nobody talks about this, but we have a lot more androgynous people in our society, people that are not sure of their sexuality. Now, not a statement on that, but why are we suddenly seeing this upsurge? Is it because more people are making it more public? Or is it because we're exposing ourselves to so many different chemicals that alter our hormones? I believe it's the latter. And when you expose yourself to these chemicals, it can alter your hormones and alter your sexuality. And the liver is where a lot of these chemicals get broken down, and the liver can only do so much work. And when you overburden it and don't give it the nutrients to heal, it can become a problem. It's a theory. I have no proof of that statement. It's just an observation I've made. But the liver is always working, and if you don't give your body the nutrients that it needs to heal, it can't. As a chiropractor, when patients come see us, I say, listen, we're going to give you chiropractic care, or else going to do a nutritional workup on you because your body needs nutrients to heal. And if we give you the best chiropractic care in the world, or wherever you go, you get the best or medical care, or whatever, the best workout in the world. If you're not giving the body the raw materials to regenerate the damaged ligaments and muscles and discs, you're working out or spending your money not as efficiently as you can. Yeah, it's great, but it's not going to give you all the benefits that you want. So that's why it's so important. That's why I say at least take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. The minimum amount of nutrients you should take every day. I take that at least once a day. If I'm going hiking, if I'm going on a date, if I have a big lecture coming up, I'll take it twice a day. Even 3 times a day when I'm sick. Just give myself all the nutrients it needs. But do that at least. And if you don't know what they are, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. And it's under store, I think it is. Look under products. And I have other products too, a cold and flu tonic, an immune booster. What else? Got a colon cleanser. If your bowels aren't moving 2 to 3 times a day, yes, a day, you need to be taking something to stimulate those bowels. We have Dr. Joe's intestinal cleanser. My books are there, Eating Right for the Health of It, Prescription for Extreme Health. A lot of good information. And I archive my radio shows. So when you hear a show that you like, you can take it now and send it to your friends and say, hey, listen, this is the show I was telling you about. Listen to this show. It pertains to you. We videotape my live lectures. We videotape little tidbits as well. I try to videotape something if we can every day, just a little tidbit to send it out to the world on how to sit, how to sleep, what to eat, how your shoulder can come out of place, things you can do to get well. So I want this to become a tutorial for you I want you to learn as much as you can from my website, and it's no charge for the information, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Now, you can also order the supplements on Amazon if you have an Amazon account. So we're talking today about foods that detoxify your body. And, of course, Super Greens and Essential Source are at the top of the list by far. Inexpensive and easy. Carrots. They're rich in, again, glutathione. Glutathione helps the liver work better. Carrots are one of the most powerful detoxifying vegetables. They're loaded with something called beta-carotenes and vitamin A. Now, they have cardiovascular benefits, and they can help improve your immune function. So carrots are great. You can shred them and make a salad with it. You can eat them just as they are. When I make my soups, I make a lot of soups, especially in the winter. I have a crock pot, and I'll do bean soup, split pea soup, lentil soup. Real simple. Carrots, onions, and celery. Water. I take vegetarian bouillon cubes. Throw in whatever it is, let's say the lentils. Turn it on for 6 hours. You got soup. Put it in the refrigerator. Eat it every day. Cheap, easy. Freeze it if you want to. Give it to your friends. I make soup. I give it away like crazy because it's so inexpensive. People think you're so cool. But carrots are great. You can throw them into the soup. So there's a lot of foods that you can start adding to your diet. I got a bunch more. I'm actually only on the C's, and gosh, I'm almost out of time here. But I got A to Z. Like I said, I'm only on the C's that are good for you. But the bottom line is they're fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. All of them are either fruits, vegetables, nuts, or seeds that help the body detoxify. And the Super Greens and Essential Source, of course, are right up there too. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us for chiropractic care, for nutrition care, for digestive problems, acid reflux, heartburn, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe with the number one Dr. Joe in the world, and we will set you up a time to come see us. We have offices Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We accept people with all insurances. We accept people without insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. I have never seen a car damaged ever where the occupants weren't damaged. So if it was a big accident or a small accident, you have damage to your spine. I promise you. So go to the website. Stop waiting. People come in all the time and say, why didn't I do this sooner? My doctors ask the patients when they come in. You've been listening to Dr. Joe now for 10, 15, 20 years. Why have you just decided to come in now? I know, I should have done this sooner. It would have been a lot better. So don't wait, folks. Get better now. Enjoy your life. 26,960 days in the average life. You might as well enjoy them. Go to the website now. Make an appointment. drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Other foods that help you cleanse and detoxify. Cauliflower. It's also a cruciferous vegetables. If you don't know what cruciferous are, go back to about actually 17 minutes ago I talked about them. So cauliflower aids in the production of enzymes that flush toxins out of your body and carcinogens, and it makes it a powerful disease-fighting food. So cauliflower has just found a new reputation, a good reputation, because people are grinding up cauliflower and using it for rice. Low carb. You can make cauliflower pizza crust, which I love. Essentially 0 carbs, and they're great as well. So cauliflower is great. Cilantro. Now, cilantro, the seeds are called coriander. So coriander seeds, if you plant them, become cilantro. A lot of people don't know that. So if you're using coriander or cilantro, they're both very good. This herb helps to mobilize mercury and other heavy metals and get them out of the system. Again, as a chiropractor, I want to make sure your nervous system is working properly. Heavy metals can really gunk up the mechanism. So eat cilantro as often as you can. Use the seeds if you can. You can grind them up. Coriander, put them in salads. You can put them in soups. They're really good stuff. And it helps break down those heavy metals. Collard greens. Collard greens are loaded with vitamin K. They're also high in fiber. They're good for you if you live in the South. Collard greens are a standard. Don't make them with pork or ham hocks. I know you don't want to hear that, Southern folks. But those things, even the Bible says don't eat pork. There are 2 of the 3 major religions that if you eat it, you can be like excommunicated, or I think that's for Christians. Some of them will even kill you if you eat pork. Pigs are not clean animals. And even 2,000 years ago when Moses wrote Leviticus, pigs weren't clean. They're a lot dirtier now. So if you're going to do collard greens, and here's the thing, do it without the bacon and it'll taste just as good. I make soups without all the meat products. They taste just as good. I make pesto without the cheese in it. Tastes just as good. If you're on blood thinners, tell your doctor that you're taking Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. You're going to be eating a lot of collards, a lot of greens. The doctor will then hopefully adjust the medicine to your new lifestyle. Now, keep this lifestyle. You can't go up and down. You got to decide, this is my new lifestyle. Because you need the nutrients that are in the fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, but they also may be high in vitamin K. And vitamin K can clot your blood, and if you're on blood thinners, you're kind of being counterproductive. But your doctor can modify your medication. The good news about this is I've had patients modify their diet. We work with all sorts of doctors. We refer out all the time. They refer to us. They'll modify the medication, but then eventually the body starts to heal. And many times patients will say, oh, my doctor says I don't need the medication anymore. Now, I'm not against drugs. I'm not against surgery. I'm against unnecessary use of drugs and surgery. So collard greens are great. Same thing with super greens and essential source. Check with your doctor first. Most doctors are willing to work with you. If a doctor is stubborn and isn't willing to work with you, it's okay, by the way, to find another doctor. I've got a list of doctors I can refer you to of all sorts of professions. So I have dentists, general practitioners, orthopedists, neurologists, pain management doctors, neurosurgeons, orthopedic surgeons, doctors that do stem cell injections to help regenerate joints. I've built a very large network of doctors that I work with because not everybody can do everything. That's why so many medical doctors and orthopedists and neurologists send us their patients, and we send our patients out if we need their evaluations. So try to find doctors that understand how do you get well and stay well. That's important. Dandelions. I know you think of them as weeds, but dandelions act on the liver, and it helps filter out toxins and other waste products from the blood system. Dandelion tea has been shown to help the liver break down toxins. Dandelions are very bitter. There's something called Italian broccoli or broccoli rabe, rapini it's called. Bitter. But bitters are very good for the liver. I remember being a child and going to Germany. My mother's parents are from Germany. And they had something called Underberg. I don't even know if it's still around anymore. But it was a bitters. And you would take it to help your digestive system. Why? I didn't know why. I just drank it. It was bitter and it helped your digestive system. It turns out that it stimulates the liver, breaks down toxins, produces bile, squirts it into your small intestine, which helps you digest your food. So bitter foods are good. Fennel. Fennel tastes like licorice, if you've never had fennel. In Italian, we call it fanoc. I remember my grandmother would feed us fanoc, and it was the candy because it tastes like licorice. It looks like celery, tastes like licorice, and it helps protects the liver from harmful chemicals, and it energizes your body. So it's a really good thing to add. Now, fanoc, again, or fennel, we ate it raw, but now some fancy restaurants will now grill it. You have grilled fennel. Ooh, it's so fancy, so expensive. It's cheap, but you can eat it raw as well. Just make sure it's fresh. If you get an old piece and you start chewing on it, it gets real chewy and fibrous, but great food if you like licorice. You'll love fennel. Flax seeds are great. Flax seeds help clean out the liver. Again, they're soluble and non-soluble fiber, which helps really push things through the colon. It suppresses your appetite. It helps with weight loss. Grind them up. Don't take them whole. Grind them up and use them right away. Because as soon as something is ground up, like flax seeds, they start to oxidize, which means they break down. So grind them up. Whatever you're going to put it in, eat it right away because it gets slimy really fast. And I've had people go, ew, it looks like snot. Well, flax seeds do get a little slimy. Chia seeds, a little trick I do, and almost every day in my house I have a tea. I just throw a tea bag in some water, and I'll let it sit overnight. Don't even boil the water. Just let it sit. And then I'll add about maybe a cup of tea to maybe a tablespoon or two of seeds, chia seeds, and let it sit for a few hours. And it becomes this globulous mass. Shake it up a few times to keep it in solution. And I drink it. And it doesn't, it's kind of chewy, kind of slimy. It's okay. You can add a little stevia to it if you want to give some flavor to it. And boy, I tell you what, it gets in your colon, swells up. It's omega-3 fatty acids. It cleans everything out of your system. It helps with weight loss. So chia seeds are a fun little thing. And I got so much more to cover. I'll do garlic. Folks, eat more garlic. Garlic's loaded with sulfur. It supercharges your immune system. It fights viruses, germs, and bacteria. One of the few things that ever can do that. And it's loaded with sulfur. And the sulfur helps regenerate your joints. So when you come in as a chiropractic patient to our offices or wherever your chiropractor is, and they're adjusting you, you want to give your body the nutrients that it needs to heal. So garlic is loaded with sulfur. And the minimum amount of nutrients you should be doing is, say it with me, Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. If you're not doing that, I recommend you do it for a month. Every day religiously, take it every day for a month. And if you don't see amazing results, don't get any more. If you don't see an increase in energy, sleeping better, a lot of things, even a little bit of change. How about that? I wouldn't say amazing, just a little bit of change. Stop taking it. But if you do see changes, I want you to take it every day for the rest of your life. You will be so happy with that decision. So, folks, all that information to order supplements, website is there. Order books, listen to radio shows, watch videos, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, because we send out a lot of good information for free on those sources as well. Now, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. You can make an appointment 24 hours a day. If you have questions, call us. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. We want to be your doctors. I've never seen a car accident where the car was damaged where the occupants weren't. So stop suffering needlessly. Stop complaining. Take the action step. It's really easy. drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. We want to help you get well and stay well. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for telling your friends about the show. Go to the website, listen to other shows. We'll catch you soon.
Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on a WSB Radio app.